What's going on, everyone? My name is Jared, and this is another episode of TechWorks. Today we're kind of just going to talk a bit, and it's about something I've wanted to talk about for a bit, and that's the use of Pro in products, right? So you have the MacBook Pro, PlayStation 4 Pro, now the new Huawei P20 Pro, and is it actually Pro? What is making these devices Pro, and really, do they deserve this name? So, kind of a brief history lesson. So back in the day, at least the biggest thing for me that I remember being Pro was when the first MacBook Pro came out. Back when the unibody, it was either white plastic or aluminum unibody. And the Pro made a difference. It was upgradable, more powerful, stronger, better, more durable, the whole 9 yards. And since then, everything's kind of digressed and changed, and in my opinion, lost its way of being a Pro product. So, get it out of the way, I believe a Pro product should be something that, one, a professional is more likely to use. Someone that's going to make money by using that product. So, if you're a graphic designer, you're going to use a product that's going to allow you to do graphic design better, so on and so forth. And a great example, like the new MacBook Pro, sitting right here, 2017 version. This is called the Pro, with the only real difference being now less I/O and the touch bar, right? Versus back in the day when you could upgrade your hard drive, upgrade your RAM, replace things if they needed to. You can't replace anything now. And talking about phones and say the PlayStation 4 Pro. So the PlayStation 4 Pro, the only difference between that and the normal is 4K enhancements and hard drive space. There really was no big difference. And examples like Huawei with the P20 Pro versus the P20. The P20 Pro gets another lens, a boost in speed, more RAM, and different hard drive configurations or storage space configurations. Screen, very little differences other than a few things. And my problem with it is using the word Pro makes it seem all that and more, right? You buy a MacBook Pro versus a MacBook, I got the MacBook Pro because it's better. But is that really the case anymore? So in the case of, I'll call there's the products that deserve the Pro name and products that don't. And right off the rip, I'm going to say a product that does deserve the Pro name is the new iMac Pro. And I say that because finally, dollar for dollar, Apple created an all-in-one computer, which you can't necessarily build a PC counterpart for considerably less. It used to be where you could build a PC, something crazy for the same price as some of Apple's highest tier products and get a lot more value, a lot more use, and obviously customizability, upgradability, and freedom to choose, brands and things you like. The iMac Pro actually comes in at right around the same or just a little bit under what you could buy a comparable PC for. And it came with features that professionals would likely use. A higher core count in its processor, better graphics for video editing and rendering and all of that stuff. Tons of I/O for all your devices. Something unique and different that actually benefited people. I don't think this new MacBook Pro deserves to be called a MacBook Pro at this point. It's just another MacBook. Until they make it where you have more than 4 ports that you can use and get rid of, not necessarily get rid of, but don't call the touch bar something super beneficial, I really don't think that is deserving of the Pro name. I just think it's just a higher spec laptop, especially in comparison to what you can get in the PC world. I know people are invested in Mac, and I've had whole videos about the Apple ecosystem, so we won't get into that. And then you have products like the iPad Pro, which now, different than their low-cost iPad, is really not much different. My 2015 iPad Pro and the new iPad 9.7 inch are almost identical. And it's going to cost a lot less. It's not called Pro, it has Apple Pen support. It just makes sense. And I know so far I've listed a lot of Apple products, but I'll get into some other stuff. So again, the PS4 Pro, I don't really think it should be called the PS4 Pro. Do professionals use it? No. Is it for pro gamers? No. It's going to play the same games fine. A lot of games don't even come with 4K support yet. The Xbox One X versus the Xbox One S are 2 different models featuring 2 different setups. Similar but different, and it's not called Pro. And maybe I was a marketing major, and maybe it's my inner marketing major speaking out to me saying that that just isn't right. And then products like Huawei P20 Pro, so you gain an extra lens and some other features. I would rather you see it go with like the Samsung S9 Plus. Now Samsung could have easily made the bigger brother of the S9 called the S9 Pro. They could have done it just because of adding the extra camera lens and a little bump in specs and called it Pro. But I think the Plus makes more sense in a marketing perspective, and it's less deceiving for consumers. You got the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus, 8 and 8 Plus, and to me that means, okay, it's the iPhone 8 plus some other stuff, right? So the iPhone 8 has an extra lens, bigger screen, whatever. Basically that's it, that's the difference. And if Huawei did the same with the P20 Plus, you know, come with the extra lens, come with the extra whatever. I think it makes a lot of sense. And that wouldn't necessarily work with computers, but I think with cell phones or the PS4 Plus, maybe to not get confused with PlayStation Plus, I don't know, that's a whole nother marketing thing. I think going forward, we got to think about how to market things and how to accurately talk to consumers about it. So people who don't necessarily know all the ins and outs, someone who doesn't read tech journals and news articles all the time like myself, if you went to the store and you're like, oh, well, here's your Wheaties and here's your Wheaties Pro, these ones sound better, they might be better, yet there might only be one or two little minute differences, but a consumer who is uneducated is not going to know that. And you might be saying, well, then the consumer should be educated, but not everyone has the opportunity to go online and read. Not everyone may not have the interest of doing that, or someone might be buying a present, a gift, something for someone else, and might just not know in general, and they're going to say, oh, well, that one's Pro, so that one's got to be better. When in reality, that might not necessarily be the case. It might just offer some very minute differences, and there could be a much better value in products that don't have that Pro moniker attached to them. And my whole reason for this video is, so I'm involved in PC a lot. I'm involved in Apple products a lot. I'm involved in a lot of everything. I'm involved in car stuff, working on my car. You know, when I went and bought a new exhaust system, I bought it because I like the brand and I like the product. Now, if they had, you know, the exhaust and then exhaust Pro, I would have wanted to know the differences of why this one's going to solicit a higher dollar value when at the end of the day, is it still going to do the same thing as the other one? You know? And to me, that makes a difference. I do use my products for professional use. I used to use them when I was doing graphic design for another company and web design. And yes, I had a MacBook Pro then, and I had an iMac. And that's what I used on a day-to-day basis all the time. And it made sense, it was more powerful, it worked out because I was using the programs that Mac OS offered. But I don't think everything has to be called Pro just because it's a little bit better. I think they should come up with other names because it gets confusing for consumers, and especially when, you know, PC brands have hundreds of different models. Someone commented the other day about an MSI laptop compared to my Asus one. Asus one, it doesn't really have a specific name like Ryzen Threadripper is very specific. You have 3 options, boom, 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 that's it. This version of the MSI laptop had, I think, 16 different configurations. That's a lot, and to be one letter different is confusing to the consumer, or even confusing to someone like myself when I'm trying to do research and, you know, just say it's the MSI laptop XYZ, but if it's XYZ1, well, that's different than XYZ, right? So, long and the short of it, I think us as consumers have to really look at what we're buying today, especially in technology, because the differences between the S9 Plus and the S9 this year are more apparent, but last year, the S8 and S8 Plus, it was basically the same phone with a bigger screen, so the Plus made sense. But then you get phones like the Huawei Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro, and what's the difference? What can you justify it being Pro, and why are you commanding that price for a product that isn't that much better? So leave your comments in the comments section. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about it. Do you think, you know, naming products should keep going the same way? Do you think the MacBook Pro is still, the pro choice for people? Or do you think maybe that it should get tweaked for a naming convention that makes a little more sense, so that people aren't necessarily confused or have to do hours of research to look down to the nitty-gritty spec to see what the difference is between a Pro model and I guess a standard model or the generic model? Let me know. We'll talk about it. But anyway, my name is Jared. I am from TechWorks. Stay tuned for some more videos. As always, Tuesday and Thursday. I do want to start doing more. So if people have ideas, things they want me to research, things they want me to talk about, give my opinion about, dive deeper into, just leave a comment. I would love to hear what some people would like to see. I'd love to see if I do stream on Twitch. I don't know if you guys on YouTube would like to see some like highlights or clips of that. But leave it down below. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. See ya.